Two of the most critically acclaimed and commercially overlooked games in the last console generation were Ico and Shadow of the Colossus on PS2, which were renowned for sort of really atmospheric settings and gameplay and sort of very different gaming aesthetic compared to what else was out at the time. And now, after years of pleading, an HD update has finally been released for the PS3. You loved the old PS2 versions.
Yeah.
Now you play the PS3 version. It's like meeting an old friend, or?
Yeah, in both a good and a sad way.
Oh.
And I probably will piss some people off here, but I mean, the memories I had of playing the original Ico, it has to be said, the first time I just saw a video from Ico, I was just like, I need to get whatever hardware that is running on. And it wasn't even because of amazing visuals or anything. It was, as you said, more like a feeling. And I love playing the first Ico. But I have to admit that when playing it today in this HD collection, the vibe of the game is still there, but so much advancement has been done in just the telling of the story in video games that it's kind of hard to play Ico today. So
let's just, because like the game was overlooked, so I'm guessing a lot of people didn't play it. So just in short, what's Ico about and what's missing for today's audience?
It's a traversal game where you have to you're this boy, mythical boy that's been locked into this huge stone castle, and you find another girl in there named Yorda that you take by hand, and she's like this ghostly pale girl that you take by hand, and you actually get to play her kind of big brother as the both of you trying to find the exit of this this huge castle. And the amazing part of the game is that none of this is really told. There's like almost no text or story or anything in the game. It's more or less what you put into it, but it's still a really, really strong story just because of the friendship between these two characters.
So what's missing in the modern context?
It's not so much what's missing. It's more that the game and its mechanics it's really seem old today. I mean, just the way you traverse, the controls, the animation, the graphics are still okay-ish, I would say.
Ish.
Yeah, ish. But everything gameplay-wise really shows its age in a bad way. And I mean, you can still play the game just for the experience in Ico, but it's not the best game.
How about Shadow of the Colossus?
Amazing.
Oh, okay.
it's such a brilliant game. Shadow of the Colossus is the spiritual successor to Ico, and it actually has some. When you get further into it, it actually has some links in the story. But it's a completely other game or different game where you start off the game as this guy who comes into this huge castle once again with a dying woman, and you're not told anything other than you have to kill these giants. I can't remember.
Colossi?
Colossi, but also I can't remember how many of them are.
15 or something, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not
something
sure,
like
yeah.
it. And every time you do this, you get further to actually waking her up again. And again, it's not a game where everything is told explicit in the story. It's more just what you put into it. But the story is once again really, really strong. And even though no relationship between the two are really described in words, you just want to revive her again. And you do this by battling the Colossi, which are more or less huge puzzles in themselves.
So that holds up, apparently.
That holds up really well. Most of all because the gameplay mechanics, I mean, some would compare it to a game like Prince of Persia, where it's about traversal, and Shadow of the Colossus is definitely a game where that's in the focus. But the difference is that this time around the puzzles are actually alive, and they're fiercely trying to combat you, killing them, of course. And you have to find the weak points and actually climb on top of them and just, stab them with your sword. And it's just so powerful. And the thing about Shadow of the Colossus in the HD collection is that it still looks really good. I mean, it's probably the best reimagining or update of a game, of a PS2 game I've seen on the PS3.
How much is different on the technical side of things compared to the old version?
For both games, I think what really makes them better games are just a solid frame rate. That definitely goes for Shadow of the Colossus, but also filters like anti-aliasing, upscaling, and everything just makes it seem much more clear. And I think it's fair to say today that for a game like Shadow of the Colossus, that the original team who did the game tried some techniques on the PlayStation 2 that it probably wasn't meant to do, but of course techniques that are no problem for the PlayStation 3. So just playing Shadow of the Colossus with a solid frame rate is an amazing experience, but also seeing all the effects upscaled, it looks really, really good.
So this is a sort of piece of gaming history you should own if you have a PS3?
I would definitely say so. And there's so many people who have, in the years in between, just read about Ico and Shadow of the Colossus and heard all the amazing things about them. And just to be able to play both games now, to buy them in the best editions for a cheap price, I mean, how can that not be something for you?